So this is my first attempt at this randomizer, where I got a Hooper. Unfortunately, by the time we get to the second battle, Howard's caught a Darkrai and ends the run. So, one reroll later, and we start what is probably the most broken randomizer you have ever seen on YouTube. And don't let these humble beginnings, with a Surskit, a Gramble and a Sunflora as the options, distract you from just how broken this run is going to get in not too long, because we end up with a team full of Megas, Legendaries, and a Primal Pokemon. But we do take Miss Happy the Gramble to start things off, so let's see how we go from here. Kukui gives us a Pokédex and our Trainer Passport, and it's time to start the adventure with our first catch, which is Swirls the Poliwag. Again, humble beginnings, but things escalate very, very quickly. And it's time for some revenge against How. No Darkrai this time, just a Jinx and a Surskit. Miss Happy does the job for us and sees off both Pokemon, and we are 2-0 against How in this run. We'll forget the other one ever happened. And after beating his grandson, Hal of the Island Kahuna gives us a Z-Ring, which is going to come in handy throughout the rest of the run. Couple more catches now for you. Billy the Showdown comes back for I believe it's now the third game in this randomizer series, quickly followed by Blade the Gallade. Now here's where things start to get broken. Here comes something I wasn't ready for, I wasn't even recording, a full odds shiny Tynamo that knows Sandstream. So I'm going to show you his profile with the star just to show you it is a shiny, but we called him Shinamo because that fits. Whilst foraging for some berries, Mega Swampert jumps out on us. I forgot Shinamo knows Sandstream and almost kill it, but Batista joins the team and we get some power. Time for the first trial, and what I like is because these cutscenes are pre-rendered, it shows us the Gumshoes, which is not the case, because it gets randomised into a Panpour, which, still quite an easy Pokemon, but it does, as its summon, bring in a Blaziken to make things a little bit trickier. So here's a speed up version of that battle incoming for you. First trial down, and no losses. Great start to the game. Captain Lima gives us the normal Z Crystal and congratulates us on our victory there. Before we can move on, Andy also gives us the option to catch the Pokemon in the cave, but I missed this encounter because I accidentally killed the Pokemon that's there, and I can't remember which one it was now. Outside of it we meet How and Lily, then Kukui joins us to let us know that we need to go see Hala again because the grand trial is taking on the Island Kahuna, so back to the Icky Town we go. And here is the first grand trial against Kahuna Hala, and his normal fighting types have been randomised to bug types, which is a little bit of a step down for him. We have our Mega Swampert to deal with things, so I'll run the grand trial and see you on the other side. The Cricketer and the Scroopy were quite easy, but I was not expecting a Mega Beedrill, which was a bit tougher than what I was hoping for, but we pick up the Fighting Z Crystal. Along with How and Lily, we hop on a boat and we get to the next island. Cloud the Mega Altaria is the first Akala Island capture to join our team, along with Ron the Delphox, who also immediately joins the party. We meet Gladion for the first time. He's just beat How in a battle and challenges us to one, and we take him down quite easily, so we'll move on from that one. Time for the second trial instead, where we do Lana's water trial. We cross the threshold of the gate to start the trial, and we notice the splashing in the water, which is normally a school form Wishy-Washy, as the cutscene will show us, but in this randomizer it is a Hydreigon, which is a much tougher Pokemon if I do say so myself, especially with the stat boost it's about to get. It even summons a Bisharp to help it out. the call for help Bisharp taken down. That gives us the water crystal on completion of this trial, and we give that to Batista. And after some side quest work, in which was a Professor Kakui not being the Master Royale at all, that is a completely different person, we climb a mountain and go see Kiawe to do the next trial, which is a fire one. The Totem Salazzle gets randomised into a Mega Houndoom. First, we obviously need to complete the easiest game of Spot the Difference, but here's the end of it, and we will roll through onto this battle. A nice easy fast trial, we pick up the Fire Z Crystal and it is time to move on from there, and here's where we now get the really broken catchers. Dancer, the Mega Diancie, and one of the key pieces of our team for the rest of the game, joins the crew. Mallow's infamous cutscene now, and some at Game Freak definitely knew what they were doing when this got translated, so let's grind the thick club and make it go. That summons Total Lurantis, which has been very much downgraded because it is now a Joltik. And its summon, a Smoochum. Thanks to the game auto-selecting the Smoochum though, it does summon a second helper, which is a Floatzel. Grass Sea Crystal acquired, and just the Grand Trial against Olivia left in this area, but we do have time for one more catch, and this is where, like I've been saying, things really come together, because joining Mega Swampert, Mega Diancie, the Gallade, well, here comes Ares, the Primal Groudon. Time for Olivia, and so far no losses, but that's about to change because the game has given Olivia a Zygarde just to counterbalance some of the insane Pokemon that it's given us. Here it is, one critical hit lands Wrath and we lose Mega Altaria, the first loss of the run, and quite a big one because I was looking forward to using a Pokemon that I'd never used before. So time for Mega Swampert, Batista can finish the job from here. Not content with just a Zygarde, Olivia also has a Zekrom to join the mix as well. Second Grand Trial done, and that's a Kala Island finish where we pick up the Rock Z Crystal. And time to move on with some story mode now as we go to Aether Paradise. Whilst talking to the leader of the Aether Foundation, Lucamine, a wormhole opens up and Nihilego comes out of it, which we have to battle. The randomizer, of course, switches it to a Mega Houndoom, which we dispatch no problem at all. As Nihilego goes back into Ultra Space, we do see some quite concerning comments and grin from Lucamine. Next stop, Uluru Island, and straight into the action with another trial where we take on Sophocles' electric trial. And it's a good job these questions are telegraphed because I didn't have any audio at this point, so I didn't actually know what the sound cues were. I just guessed them all and got them correct. So, here's a Totem Vikavolt that is now a Cosmog. Who calls down a Mega Bennett to assist it. You may have noticed Groudon using Oblivion Wing there. Well, I found the TM for it and it turns out Groudon can now learn Oblivion Wing, which comes in very handy for its healing properties, and we get a bit of a 2-for-1 here, as not only do we get the Electric Z-Stone, Mullane gives us the Steel one as well. Mullane also gives us the Mass Royale's mask. It's not the same person, remember. And speaking of Oblivion Wing, just walking around Alola, and Yveltal flies out of a tree and attacks us, so welcome Bacon back to the team. Whilst Guzma's up to nobody in the pack here, let me just sum up at the minute that we've got a Primal Groudon, a Mega Diancie, a Mega Swampert, and Yveltal all on the team. So yeah, things are looking very, very good now. Still only one death as well. We beat down Guzma, he crashes out, time to take on Ace Roller's trial in the haunted supermarket, where I knew this Mimikyu was behind me when the camera opens, still giving me a jump scare, even though I knew it was there at that exact moment. The fun thing about this trial, the total Mimikyu gets randomised into a Bruxish, but the Bruxish summons a Mimikyu, so there is at least a bit of consistency with the actual story with this trial. Trial defeated, Ghost Sea Crystal picked up, time to speak to Ace Roller, who is absolutely adamant this rumour I'm studying right now does not exist. From here we head to the beach to speak to Grimsley, who gives us the ride pager for Sharpedo, allowing us to go to Po Town to rescue a stolen Yungoos from Team Skull, where we run into Guzma again, which is where we'll pick back up. Time to beat down Guzma again, who has another crash out, and as you can see he is hoarding Sea Crystals, specifically the Bug type ones, so once we've beaten we pick up one of those as well as rescuing the Yungoos. Whilst we were gone, Lily has been kidnapped, Gladion takes it out on us by battling us, so we knock him to one side and run into Nanu, the Island Kahuna, who wants to battle us before rescuing Lily. Here comes the second loss of the run for us here, and it's one of our long-serving Pokemon. Blade is going to fall here, he does take out this stuff. And here it comes, the Boufflant uses its Z move, which absolutely decimates the Glide. Rest in peace, Blade. You were one of the longest serving members of our team. Ares avenges his fallen teammate Blade, which allows us to move on to the 8th Paradise and rescue Lily from what turns out to be her mum, Lucamine. Faber here thinks he's been clever by giving us a false lead. All it does is delays the inevitable, so after a bit of running around, we come back to him and we have to fight him again after this quick victory here. But the second time round it was a double battle with How. Faber and the 8th Grunt out of the way, we get to move on to rescue Lily, but before that, of course there's more things in the way. there's an absolute horde of Team Skull members and Guzma who beats down Gladion as well whilst he's at it. We take down Guzma ourselves, giving us access to Lucamine's mansion, where she's got Lily held captive, along with Nebby, who has been forced to evolve and opens up Ultra Wormholes all over Alola, freeing the Ultra Beast. Lucamine and Guzma themselves step into a wormhole and get sent to the Ultra Dimension themselves. Well, there's nothing we can do about it, so for now, we move on. The next morning we get to see the Z-powered version of Lily, where she now gains some courage and some strength and becomes a completely different person for the rest of the game, as we head to Pony Island together for the final challenges of the game, and the first encounter, well, here's Gunshow the Buzzwole. Hapu has just been made the island's kahuna, and the first thing she does is challenges us to a battle to get the last couple of crystals out of the way. And here these go, her ground types have been replaced by ice types, no problem at all for Aries. Hapu defeated, Ground Z Crystal acquired, and upcoming next is the hardest trial in the entire game, Mina and the Fairy Z Crystal. Nothing gets tougher than walking on a bridge, bumping into her, and her just handing it over. Time for the real final island challenge of the game. Totem Komodo has actually been changed to one of the previous challenges which got randomised away, so here's Totem Lorantis. Fracture joins Lorantis as the call to assist in this battle. Dragon Z Crystal in hand, myself and Lily go to Executor Island to pick up the Sun Flute, and playing the Sun and Moon Flute together, we evolve Nebby into a Solgaleo, allowing us to go to the Ultra Dimension to rescue Lucamine and I suppose Guzma as well. Nihilego has got other ideas though, and merges itself with Lucamine to make this unholy eldritch horror of a Pokemon human hybrid, before battling against it and the Pokemon that they have got acquired between them. Lucamine defeated, and she gets separated from the Nihilego and passes out, so we need to rescue her and bring her back around to consciousness, which Lily takes on the role of doing and helps her mother out in her time of need. Nebby wants to join our team for the rest of the game, and with the way this randomizer is going, I bet you can guess what happens. Yep, it's a Deoxys. So we go into the Pokemon League with an attack form Deoxys because we use the Meteorite coming up. We've got the Primal Groudon, the Mega Diancie, the Mega Swampert, the Yveltal. The team is ridiculous. And Gladion here has got no chance at all at the base of Mount Lanakila. My God Squad versus Gladion's normally randomised team. 2 more fights before the Pokemon League, this one and How at the top. Let's see how they go. I was a bit cheeky here. He completes his island challenge later than us, but wants to fight us to see who gets to be the first to take on the Pokemon League. Even though we did the challenges first, got to the top of the mountain first, he probably didn't need to face against Gladion either. So let's just beat him and his Pokemon up and move on. Here's the team taking on the Pokemon League Challenge: Aries, Dancer, Batista, The Gun Show, Nebby and Bacon. Let's go Quad Box. Ace Roller takes down the Gun Show with her first of 2 Deoxys. And Olivia claims her second victim of the run. Wheeler Gudra taking down Dancer, a massive loss. Dancer, one of the best Pokemon we've had, and a real stalwart of the team. the Elite Four dealt with, but one more challenge before we become the official champion. Professor Kukui gives us one more fight. We've got 4 Pokemon remaining. Can we do it? Can we become Alola's first champion with our absolute god squad? Me versus Professor Kukui, the winner, the first champion of the Alolan Pokemon League, the last battle of the game, the last battle of this series in fact, as from next week we'll be moving on to a new Pokemon project. Bronzong falls, and we become Alola's first champion. And the ending cutscenes in this game are fantastic because it really celebrates the fact that you've just won a title. The Elite Four join you in the Champions Chamber, the obvious Hall of Fame which is in every game, but also there's a big party back in Iki Town which will be coming up as well. Our 6 legends go in the Hall of Fame as Alola's first champion team, 2 losses along the way, 4 for the entire video. Alola, like the thumbnail says, was not ready for this. Time for the Iki Town party with fireworks and dancing, as there's one last thing to do, and that is sign off this video. Thank you all for watching. If you liked it, feel free to subscribe. Next week, well, it's a viewer suggestion. Can Alolan Executor solo Ultra Moon? I hope you all have a good week, and I'll see you in the next video.